Just a short few hours ago, Nintendo finally dropped the teaser trailer for the Nintendo Switch 2, and as long as you blinked, I promise you've missed a bunch of stuff. So in this video, we are going to be deep diving everything you might have missed in the Switch 2 teaser trailer, and also going over a couple of my personal theories. Without further ado, let's go right back into it. Alright, so here is the trailer. So first it starts off with the Nintendo logo, as you can expect to see. And then it goes right into the shot of the original Nintendo Switch. The first comparison shot they tried to give us with the first Switch is that once you remove the Joy-Cons, you'll notice that the footprint of the Switch itself is going to in fact be bigger. Something else I've noticed right away is that the front edge of the Switch 2 is actually flatter than the original and the OLED models. Then we move on to this little animation right here that is supposed to show off a texture that we'll only be able to see a little later. Then we take a look at the new mounting mechanism for the Joy-Cons before flipping underneath the Switch to see the USB Type-C port, but instead, I notice that you get to see the textures a lot better here, but you'll see them even better later. Then we take a look at a few button placements and nothing out of the ordinary until this. Although we don't know what it's for, it'll be way more comfortable to charge from the top when you're playing in handheld mode. But when we get back to the back of the system, we can see the textured premium eggshell finish to the shell. And look at the new kickstand that is now shaped like a U. However, if you look at the card slot, you'll notice that the door is actually backwards, which means it's going to be opening towards the front, also implying that you'll be inserting the games backwards, which might take some getting used to. They then show off how great the kickstand is and how flexible it is, but pretty much it's the same thing as the OLED model. And here we can see that it's going to be the same speaker system as the OLED model as well. Back at the Joy-Cons, if you blink you'll miss it, although they didn't put the third trigger. Take a look at the new shoulder buttons, because I have a theory on them later. They then grow the Joy-Cons and I noticed three things. First, of course, the new button, which is faceless at the moment in this entire trailer. Also, they actually scaled up the buttons in proportion with the controllers. I laid them one on top of the other just to make sure, and yep, that's the case. Although they aren't much bigger, the bigger buttons will be nice. Then the third thing I noticed is that there's going to be two colorways. The first colorway will be the plain black like we see right here. Then what I'm guessing is blue and red. However, the red looks a little off. It's more like pinkish, almost like a salmon color. Maybe it's just the renders that aren't coming off clear on screen, but I don't know. When I think of gamers, I don't think of them as being lovers of the color of salmon. I don't know. If salmon's your favorite color, let me know down in the comments. Anyways, let's get back to topic and rewind a bit. Here you can see that with the new mounting mechanic, the SL and SR buttons are bigger, and if you look near the top, you can see that there's a little piston that will help you remove the Joy-Cons when you want to play with the Joy-Cons in the cradle. It's also worth noting that the IR sensor is also gone at the bottom of the controller. Also, the little hole at the bottom of the rail is going to help the Joy-Con click into place with the strap. Both Joy-Cons are identical, at the exception of the red one having slightly more buttons, one more. But now when we look at this blue one, they tease us a new feature. Here is a optical sensor, and you can find these at the bottom of basically any modern mouse. But although they don't explicitly state that, we're going to be able to use our Joy-Cons like a mouse, shortly after they snap in the Joy-Cons into the wrist straps and start sliding them around on a table. And to me, this seems pretty convincing that the Joy-Cons are going to be able to be used like a mouse. But let's look back at this image because I have a theory. What does a typical computer mouse do? Well, you can move it around and you can move a cursor, you can click the buttons, but there's one component missing and that would be the wheel. Now, why would the shoulder buttons have to go all the way around the controller? Because pressing the button from the side of the Joy-Con wouldn't be very comfortable during gameplay. But what I'm wondering is I wonder if Nintendo found a way to put a sensor in the Joy-Con that can detect when your finger slides from the bottom of the Joy-Con up to the top. Meaning we can use the shoulder buttons as a scroll wheel. And here's the thing, it makes total sense because if they're making the Joy-Cons become a mouse, we're going to need a scroll wheel. And also, a while back, Masahiro Sakurai mentioned how he would find it really cool if a controller could have a scroll button on the shoulders, which was really weird at the time. However, looking back, it makes so much sense. But please keep in mind, this is nothing but a theory. But before we move on, I have a quick message to say. If this is your first time here, hey, my name's Acadrien and I post weekly Nintendo videos just like this. So if it's your first time here, I would greatly appreciate it if you would simply consider to like and subscribe, and without further ado, let's go right back into the video. And it seems Nintendo has a new marketable soundbite. Instead of having the original Switch's snap, we now have a deep, rich clap. Then they finally announced what the official name of the console will be, and it's officially going to be Nintendo Switch 2. But Nintendo still wasn't done because they had one little thing to show us, the next Mario Kart game. Although there are only 12 racers on screen, you can see 24 starting blocks. Additionally, even though Peach is on a motorcycle, she isn't wearing her biker suit, so maybe they're gone. Also, it feels like Nintendo might be adopting a new art style for Mario Kart, and their models seem to be modeled after more recent outings, such as Mario from Mario Wonder and Donkey Kong from the Mario Bros. Movie. But after they were done showcasing us Mario Kart, then they show us the new Joy-Con cradle. So because of this new snap-on mechanism, you now snap on the Joy-Cons to the cradle. This leads us into the launch year, which is going to be 2025, which I really don't feel like is surprising to anyone. Then we see this image that tells us that all our games are going to be backwards compatible, except for a select few, and I don't think it's anything much to worry about. Only games like Labo won't work, because they need the specific dimensions of the original Switch. And then other games like 1-2 Switch because you're gonna need the IR sensor that's no longer included on the Switch 2. Then they give us a heads up about a direct coming to us in April, and this is where we're gonna hear about all the games. And honestly, that's probably the most exciting part of this teaser trailer. And then finally, there's going to be hands-on events that are going to be scattered around the world. But with all that being said, that brings us to the end of the first official Nintendo Switch 2 teaser trailer. Now I want to hear from you. On a scale from 1 to 10, how excited are you for the Switch 2? For me personally, it's probably somewhere around an 8 because I need to see the games first. I know there's going to be plenty of great games for the Switch 2 eventually, but I'm just really looking to see what the launch lineup is going to look like. I would once again like to thank you for watching the video all the way to the end, and if you did enjoy this video, why not check out another one? For whatever reason, YouTube thinks that you'll enjoy this one, so try checking out that one next. And until next time, Warao.